Everyone present in the state resource group training from all the states, UTs, and autonomous bodies. Good evening. As Nidhi ma'am has already informed us that this session is all about open educational resources. So, as a teacher, you may have developed any resource, any content for your students or in the teaching learning process. I believe that many of you, because you belong to the states and UTs and the autonomous bodies, and all the states and UTs are now a part of Diksha. And states are contributing their content for Diksha. So maybe you have developed resources or the content for Diksha. But are those resources open for all or the resources restricted? That we are going to discuss in this session. What are the open resources and what are the restricted resources? So I just want to ask you, you can write in the chat box whether you have developed any content, not for Diksha, but for your classroom teaching, or whether you have used any free content creation platform, for example, any ICT tool, whether you have explored or you have used for the creation of the content, you can write in the chat box. And before using that platform, whether you have checked that the platform is open to use. Many have responded in yes. Yes. Many tools we are going to explore in the coming days of this SRG training. Yes, Kahoot hai, quizzes hai, okay, H5P hai, all these are the free digital content creation platforms. But these platforms are not completely free. Many of the features of these platforms are paid. But yes, for content creation, we can use this. Yes, for video creation, we can use KindMaster or Kahoot for creating the quizzes also. So let's go to the presentation and let's discuss what OERs are and how we can choose the licenses for our content. Just allow me to share my screen. I hope my screen is visible to all. So yes, as a teacher, I just discussed that maybe you have created any resource and content for your teaching learning process. So whether you can use that resource as open resource or whether you want to restrict your resource, this is your choice totally, because the creator is the author of the resource and creator has all the rights to restrict his or her created content. That content can be anything. That content can be an article. That content can be a piece of your work, it could be a paper, it could be a book, it could be a video, it could be an audio, it could be anything. So whatever content you are creating, you are the whole sole author of that, whole sole creator of that content, and you have all the rights to give the permission of other user, how the other user can use your resource. So what are the ways of using those resources? We will discuss in the coming slides also. So OER, as this slide says, that open educational resources are the educational material that are in the public domain or published under open licenses. Yeah, it means that the resources or the content which is available in the public domain. It means that the content is available for all. Anyone can access that content, anyone can download that content, and anyone can use it further for any purpose. And the main feature of the OERs are that they can be used, they can be reused, they can be adapted. It means that you can download the resource and you can modify the resource as per your choice, as per your need. And also you can share the particular resource with other users. So OERs can include textbooks, curricula, syllabi, lecture notes, assignments, tests, projects, audio, video, software, etc. So here I have just mentioned few definitions from the very renowned organizations, that is OECD and UNESCO. it says, the OECD says that OERs are the digitized materials offered freely and openly for educators. Just concentrate on the word openly and freely. And students and self-learners to use and reuse for teaching, learning, and research. So the resources which are available freely and openly for all are the open educational resources. What could be the example of OERs? So let's see the another definition which has been given by UNESCO, that open educational resources are learning, teaching, and research materials in any format and medium that reside in the public domain or are under copyright that have been released under an open license. So you have to check the license of that resource which you want to use. The license should be open. And how you can identify that the license should be open? There are many types of licenses also. We will discuss this also. And the open license that permits no cost access, reuse, repurpose, adaptation, and redistribution by the others. So you can access the resources and you have all the permission to download the resource. You can access the resource, you can reuse it, you can repurpose it, you can adapt it, and you can redistribute that particular resource as well. So here here we have given the two definitions from the two very big organizations. So now there is another term which can be very oftenly used. The first one is open education and the second one is open license. So what is the open education? It is a philosophy about the way people should promote, produce, share, and build on knowledge. So open education, basically in simple words, we can say that some peoples have, they think that education should be open for all. I mean, suppose I am creating a resource, I am writing a book, and I am not distributing that book for the financial purpose to gain any financial profit. I am just putting that book in a public domain so that any user can come, any concerned user can come, and any user can access that book. That means that I am providing the open education to everyone. I am not charging anyone on that book. I am not putting any license on that book. I am not, okay, obviously because I am the author of that book, I have the copyright on that. But I am giving permissions to each and every users to use that books openly. So I am giving open education to all. So there are people who thought like that, that they should create the resources in any form and they can provide it to the public as an open education. Then open license again means the license that respects the intellectual property right of the copyright owner and provide permissions granting the public the rights to access, reuse, repurpose, adapt, and redistribute the educational materials. Open license, it means that whenever I am creating any resource and I am putting it as open education and I am putting it as the resource is open for all, I am putting some license also. And how? And a license means I am giving a permission to the user in which way, in the way they can use that particular resource. Whether I am giving them permission to only access the resource, whether I am giving them permission only to reuse the resource or to repurpose the resource, or I can give them permission only to adapt the resource, or I can give permission to them to do all these things, to access, to reuse, to repurpose, to adapt, and redistribute. So these are the types of license the author can give. What OERs includes? So these are the examples of OERs. You may have, whenever you explore the internet and you find any type of information, you may have find a plethora of information, pages of information regarding that particular single word, whichever you want to explore. And but those pages containing the particular information are not open and they may not be the open resources. So you have to identify the resources which are open for all. So the example of open educational resources are virtual labs, interactive videos. They can be interactive videos, they can be a textbook, They can be in the form of audio video lectures, they can be animations, audio collection of journal articles, digital images, software tools, anything. So OER can be are available in any form. Here you can see the benefits of open educational resources, and I have used a picture, already available picture, which is available on the internet. I have used that picture, but before using this picture, I have checked its license. This picture is open for all, and the permission has been given to the user that you can reuse this picture. And that's why I've taken these pictures, which very beautifully explaining the benefits of open educational resources. You can click the picture of this slide also. So the benefits can be, it can be created by educator and scholars. It reduces need to create new learning resources. It increases opportunities to collaborate. They are flexible and anyone can adapt these resources. They reduces cost and increases accessibility, obviously, because they are open. There is no cost involved in downloading or accessing the open educational resource. The next one is freedom to access, encourage lifelong learning, inclusion of different voices and perspective, authentic or real life learning experiences. So these are the benefits of open educational resources, but there can be many other benefits also, other than the given benefits. So what is the characteristics of open educational resources, or what is the beauty of OERs? Here, you can see in the picture, these are called the 5 R's. 5 R's means the first one is reuse, to retain, to revise, to remix, to redistribute. Again, this picture has been taken with the permission of the author to reuse this picture. So reuse means content can be reused in its unaltered original format. The user can use a particular content, but the content should not be altered by the user. It means that it can be used in its original format. Then retain means copies of content can be retained for personal archives or reference. It means if you want to use any resource, any content, you can use it for your personal use. You cannot reuse it. You can only retain that particular resource. Revise says that content can be modified or altered to suit specific needs. It means you can take the content and you can modify or alter it as per your need. Then the next R is remix. It says content can be adapted with other content to create something new. This is a remix. We usually do. We usually know about the remixing of the music. The two types of music can be remixes to form a new kind of music. It is same like you can just download the original resource and you can modify it. You can adapt it as per your need. So you can remix the resource, and the last R is redistribute, which says content can be shared with anyone else in original or altered format. It means that the resource can be redistributed to the another user in its original or the altered format. So these are the 5 R's of OER. So in this slide, we have tried to show the types of OERs. OERs could be in the courseware, it could be the textbooks. Courseware, if you say that the NCERT is already working on, especially CIT is working on creating and developing many courses, and you can find those courses as nano courses and Nishtha courses on the Diksha platform. Many of you may have attempted those courses also, and these courses are sorry, this courses has the certification process. The teachers and the users who are doing these courses gets the certificate after the completion of the course. So these courses are all free. You can you can access the courses, you can participate in those courses, you can complete the course, and yeah, you can you are also getting the certificate for that course. You are not going to pay a penny for attempting these courses. So these the courses are also the example of open educational resources. There are lots of textbooks also available on the internet which are free for users, and those are books are also the example of open educational resources. Then there are many websites which provides the access to journals, so the researchers or the authors who wants to write some research based papers, they can access these websites. Then there are some open repositories also, open images also, open publishing also. There are many types of resources available openly on the internet. So these are the highlights of the OERs which India has. So you must be aware of this SWAM platform under which MOOCs courses are running. So SWAM is an example of OER, and students can go to the SWAM platform and enroll themselves in the MOOCs courses, and they can be certified without paying anything. So it is an example of OER. Then NPTEL is another example of OER. NCT is also working on short-term courses and other courses. And then there is Shodh Ganga. In Shodh Ganga, it is a reservoir of Indian thesis. So the researchers who are doing their PhDs or the educators, the teacher educators, or the academicians, those who are working in the field of research can go to this website and they can access the researches which can help in their writing of the new paper. So, and then there is IIT Kharagpur also has a National Digital Library of India. There could be other OERs also, but we have put here a few of OERs that are being working in India. These are the open educational research resource initiatives by NCERT, which NCERT is working upon. E-Pathshala. In E-Pathshala, we are having, the NCERT is having textbooks from class 1 to 12. Under Nishtha, we have the courses for teachers, continuous professional development. SWAM is, I've just explained that it is a platform under which NCERT is having a lots of MOOCs courses. Then ICT curriculum, it is also an initiative of CIET and CRT. And then PME Vidya, under PME Vidya, there are 200 channels across India, which are divided among the states and UTs. And NCERT itself is having 12 channels from class 1 to 12. Then the next OER, we all are very well aware of this, that is Diksha, the One Nation, One Digital platform. Diksha is an example of OER. Under Diksha, there are lots of resources. More than 3.50 lakh resources are there under Diksha, which users can go and they can access those resources and they can be benefited by those resources. Yes, here I have given the link of Diksha so that I can take you to the platform. So is this window visible, Diksha platform? Is this window visible?
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Oh, okay, thank you. This is the Diksha platform. You can see that there are two tenants other than NCERT. CBSE and NIS are also the tenants of Diksha. And here you can see many states, all the states and states and UTs are the tenants of Diksha. Tenants means that all these states and UTs are having contents related to school education. In the morning session also, this platform must have been shown to you. So this is the Diksha platform. It is an example of open educational resource. Let's go back to the PPT. So here in this slide, we have given some more OER search tools. You can read these other links, and I just open few links for you. This is MIT Open Courseware link. So this website is also open to all, and you can go to this website and you can access the content according to your need and according to the purpose, according to your purpose. So in this slide, we have provided many OER search tools. Yes. So we are talking about OERs. Here I have given a small video through which it is kind of a walkthrough through which you can know how OERs can be created. So I'm just playing this video for you, and it would be easy for you to know by after watching this video that OERs, what is the process of creating the OERs. Just listen to the video and just let me know if you can hear the voice or not. Is it audible, ma'am? I mean, voice of the
No,
video.
ma'am. No, ma'am. It is not audible.
Just a minute, just a minute. I'm just resharing it, okay.
Open Author.
Now I
We will
hope it
learn
is
how to
audible
author
to
a
you.
new resource from scratch,
Yes, it is audible.
an existing resource.
So I'm playing it from the very beginning. Yeah, now listen it carefully, please.
Welcome to our open educational resource community, a network of dedicated educators committed to improving teaching and learning. In this video, we'll help you get started using our OER authoring tool, Open Author. We will learn how to author a new resource from scratch and how to remix an existing resource. To begin, make sure you're logged in before you click on Add OER in the global navigation bar. Select Open Author from the pop-out menu. This will open a new draft of a resource for you to edit. We recommend you first give your resource a clear title and upload an image. Next, you can begin adding structure to your resource using sections. Give the sections a name and add content within each. This can include writing the main body of content that students will see, attaching resources related to the section, and articulating any specific instructions for the person teaching this resource in the Instructor Notes area. You can also import from Google Docs and OneDrive to add content to your section. Within the content editor, there are various tools to support the design and creation of your resource, including pasting text from Word, formatting headings, stylizing the font, adding numbers, bullets, indents or quotes, and changing the alignment. To make your resource more dynamic and interactive, you can add hyperlinks, images, tables, video, mathematical equations, and definitions. While editing your resource, it will automatically be saved to your drafts in your profile. You can click Save and Preview to get a sense of what your resource will look like when published. To support collaboration, we have a feature that allows you to add co-authors by clicking on View and Manage Authors. Search for your co-author's name or email. Then select the box next to their name and click Add Co-author to give permission to others to edit your resource. Before publishing, we recommend utilizing the accessibility checker on each section to ensure your resource is accessible to all learners. When you click on the checker, it will identify any accessibility issue within your section. When you're ready to publish a resource, click Publish and describe your resource clearly so that others can find it more easily. Select an open license and add any relevant standards or keywords. When you've added all the information needed to help make your resource more discoverable to others, click Publish. Resources that are published in OpenAuthor are available to users in multiple download formats, including the Braille-ready EPUB 3, PDF, Thin Common Cartridge, and SCORM. Now that you've seen how to author a new resource from scratch, let's see how you can remix an existing resource using the authoring tool. When you find a resource that is remixable, simply click on the Remix button while viewing the resource. This will create your own copy of the resource in the authoring tool. Next, give your new version a different title and begin customizing for your specific teaching and learning needs. When you have edited your remix and are ready to publish, click Publish. Be sure to update your description before publishing by citing the changes you have made to the original resource in the descriptive fields. To find resources that have been published using the authoring tool, select the OpenAuthor 2.0 box under the Content Source and the Advanced Search. We believe each member of our OER community has their own unique expertise and experience to contribute. That is why we developed our authoring tool to support the creation and sharing of educational resources. As with any new tool, the more practice you have, the easier it will be to use OpenAuthor. Remember, you can always go back and edit and republish your resource. In fact, we encourage you to update and improve your resource over time.
So I hope this video is beneficial for you. You have got an idea how you can create the open educational resource. Is it or not? You can write in the chat box. So I'll share this PPT with the coordinators. They can share it in the groups in which you are connected. You can just watch this video again and you can learn how you can create your own open educational resource. So let's go back to the PPT. Just give me a minute, please. I hope my screen is visible to you again. Yeah. So we have just seen how one can create an OER, how one can reuse it, remix it, and there are other ways also given in this video how you can repurpose the OER which you have created. So let's go to the next slide, and here there is a point, as we all are teachers here connected here in this session. So we are creating an open educational resource, or where we are creating any content, and we want to integrate that content in our teaching learning process. because we are the teacher, our whole sole purpose is to give the benefit to our students. We can always we just provide the best to our students. So how we can integrate all these OERs into the teaching learning process? So here again, I have just embed a video for you, which you can watch, and after this, you will learn how the integration can be done. But before that, we have some points here on which we can look upon. The teachers can make the OERs in their classroom teaching. They can be several course materials related to their subject areas developed by other experts. So you can use the courses also as OER for in your teaching learning process with the OER, the courses which are already available and they are already made by another author, and that particular author has given you the open license for those courses. And the teachers can also customize them according to the need of your subject, of the topic for which you are taking that particular course. And you can just retain that course, you can reuse it, you can revise it, you can remix it as well, or you can retain the course, you can reuse it, you can revise it, you can redistribute it without asking the permission. So but you have to check the licenses before using that particular OER. So here again, you can see a video which can explain how a teacher can integrate the OER in the teaching learning process. So I'll just play this video and share again the screen so that you can properly watch this. Just give me a second, please. I hope this is audible to you all, the video.
No, no one.
No? Okay, just a minute, just a minute.
A few years ago, a professor taught a climate change course
Now it is
with
on.
about 100 students per semester. One day he thought,
If I could upload this course online, then not only would my 100 students have access to it, but others as well.
so he did. And this is what happened.
Anna sent the course's content across the country to Alex, who was studying climate change.
Alex found it so interesting that he forwarded a copy to his friend Lulu in Africa.
Lulu was developing peer-to-peer courses with Philip, so they remixed the content with other resources and created a new course about the impacts of climate change in Africa.
Alan, a participant in the course, shared the content with Gabby, who was studying environmental policy in Latin America.
Gabby brought the content to her class, and together they translated it into Spanish. After that, Gabby's professor shared it with his other classes.
Myra, another student, shared the content with her father, who passed it on to his colleagues.
Gabby's professor also forwarded the content to David, a colleague in the UK who was researching climate change. He updated some of the data, adapted it to his study, and published an article in an open journal. Researchers from all over the world were able to read the article.
David sent the updated content back to the original professor. By then, his course had reached so many more people than his 100 students.
Years later, many schools had begun to follow the example and opened access to their content.
Governments began promoting the use of open textbooks, and students began saving money on books.
Other innovative universities began to open access to entire courses, making them available to participants from all around the world. These are open educational resources, teaching, learning, and research resources that can be reused, redistributed, remixed, and revised.
Open educational resources are accessible to everyone: learners, teachers, researchers, parents, workers, citizens, to you.
This is open education, knowledge as a public good.
Everyone has the right to be educated, yet only a few have access to school.
Open educational resources increase access to, improve quality of, and reduce costs of education.
Sharing knowledge is important.
Yeah, the last line, sharing knowledge is important. And this is what encourages us to create more content and make it as open educational resource. So let's come back to the PPT again. I hope this video has encourages all of us to create even a single resource which can benefit to the teaching learning fraternity. Yeah. So there, if you are creating anything new, there must be some challenges also. This is very much obvious. So the challenges could be that the issue of quality and accuracy. You must be finding many content on internet which are open and open for all, and those resources can be open. But there can be issues like that you cannot find the quality or the accuracy as you actually want, actually looking for. And there must be the limitations of hardware and software technologies also, and there can be a challenge of language and cultural views also. For example, the videos I have just shown to you, the couple of videos which I have shown to you during these sessions, those videos are again the open educational resource. Those videos were having the free licenses. And also the challenges which we am talking about right now is that the language or cultural views that may be a barrier. So if I'm going to I just I was finding a video in Hindi language also, but here comes again the same barrier that I was not able to find the same video in Hindi language. So it is a challenge for me also for finding an open educational resource that I can find a good video in English language, but this video is not available in Hindi. So I can create the similar video in Hindi language for the users. And for that video, I can keep my own licenses, which can be free to the users and which can be free for the viewers. So there could be many kind of challenges, like the last one says lack of physical contact and interactive discussions may hinder some students. Obviously, if you find some OERs, but they lack the interactive discussions, or there could be other challenges also. So we are talking about the OERs. We have talked about how to create the OERs, but if we are finding the OERs, then what are the process of finding the OERs, or what are the process to identify the open educational resources? Because whenever we search a keyword in Google or in the AI even, it gives us lots of responses. It gives us huge information, but all those information are not the open not belong to open education, and those resources are not the open educational resources. How can we find the OERs? Let's have a hands-on that. Is my screen visible to you? I have just opened Google search engine, and here I am writing. Uh, just take the example of open education resource. I just want to know about what open education resource is. So you can see the results. There are lots of links, and 10 pages are visible here. And beyond that also, beyond these 10 pages, there are other pages also which contains the information related to open educational resource. But I want to find the information which comes, the definition or the resource which comes under the free licenses. So let's see there. You can see that there are many menus here. The first menu is AI mode, then it's all, then images, then videos, news, short videos, forums, more, and then comes the last menu or the last drop down, that is of tools. Just click on that and you can find the three options: anytime, results, and advanced search. You click on the advanced search, and here you can come to another web page which asks you about the details. So here, if you scroll down the page, you can find, if my screen is visible to you, you can find the option of usage right. And here again, a drop down menu is there. The first option which is coming here is not filtered by license. It means
Sorry to interrupt. If you can zoom in a bit because the text is in a very small font.
okay, ma'am. I'm just zooming it out. Is it clear? A bit clear, I hope.
If possible, a bit larger. Okay, great. Thank you so
Itna?
much.
Okay,
150 also works.
150 is fine. Okay, ma'am.
Yes.
Okay, okay. Yeah. So the last drop down menu we were talking about, here the option is given not filtered by the license, but if you click on the this drop down menu, you can find many options: not filtered by license, pay to use or share. It means you are looking for the resources which are free to use and share. Then the next option says that free to use or share even commercially. So this is a license which are allowing us to use the resource for commercial purpose also. Then the next one is free to use, share, or modify. Then the last one is free to use, share, or modify even commercially. But we are looking for the open educational resource, and we don't want to use it for commercial purpose. So I am just choosing this thing, free to use and share. And then I just click on advanced search. Now here you can find it is again filtered, and you can find the resources which are only open to use and share. These resources, these pages, these links are only the resource which you can use and share. Okay, so this is one method of finding the open educational resource, and this is the text content. If you want to find the text content, then this is the method which I've just explained you. And if you want to find any video which is open for all, and which comes under the open educational resources, then you can just click on the video option and go to the tools option again, and then the similar method you have to apply. Yeah. So but on YouTube, if you want to find a video which has free license, so you can find the video on YouTube also in the same manner. I just giving a demo to you how you can find a video. Just give me a minute. I'm opening the YouTube for you. Just give me a second, please. So I hope the window is available. It is visible to you. Yeah. So I've just
Yes.
opened the YouTube, and I am again finding the videos related to open educational resource. Let me just zoom out the screen for you. See, I have just typed these keywords, open education resource, and I want to find the resource which has the Creative Commons license. So let's go to the filters. There is option given here on the YouTube of filters. Click on the filters option, and you can find here many options. But under feature option, you can find the Creative Commons option, and you have to click on it. If you click on the Creative Commons options, you can get all the videos which are free to use and which can come under open educational resources. So you can find here lots of videos, and these videos have open licenses. I can show you how you can check the license also. For example, I'm just opening this video. Just
For the longest time.
yeah, just scroll down your screen. Just, click on the information. Yeah. So you can check the license here. Just see here, license. The license is given. Creative Commons Attribution License, reuse allowed. It means the user can reuse this video. So this video has open license, and you can use it for your teaching learning purpose. And in the same manner, you can find the videos related to your syllabus, related to your particular subject, related to the topic you are going to teach in the class. So in this manner, you can find the text and the videos which you can use in the teaching learning process, or which you if you want to create your own content, open educational resource, then also you can use the already available resources in the same manner. So I'm just again I've come again to the PPT is visible to you. Yeah, I'm just making it in the slideshow manner. Yeah. So the next thing is intellectual property rights. It is a very common term which we have heard in our normal daily life. So intellectual property rights again are the rights which have given to the property created by intellectually. So what is that a property created by intellectually? There are many common terms which you have already heard about. The first one is copyright. Then the second one is patent. Then there are other intellectual property rights also. The intellectual property rights are the copyrights. Copyrights refers to the legal rights of the owner of the intellectual property. So for example, intellectual property means which we have created, which the author has created by using his brain. So this intellectual property can be tangible, it can be intangible as well. So these are again a type of copyright, and these copyright or the intellectual property rights can be given on the novels, poems, plays, films, musical works, artistic works, drawings, paintings, photographs, sculpture, or any other architectural design. Yeah. So this we have discussed that intellectual property right can be tangible and intangible in nature, and it cannot be used without the consent of the creator. And if anyone use any content without the consent of the creator, then he or she can be sued also. So the examples of original work which on which intellectual property rights can be taken or the copyrights can be taken, these can be books, pamphlets, article, or other writings. They can be periodicals, newspaper, letters, lectures, addresses, sermons, dissertations. They can be drama or musical compositions, choreographic works, drawing, painting, architecture, sculpture, any video, work of art, models or designs for work of art. Here more examples of original works are given. They can be original ornamental designs. They can be sketches, charts, three-dimensional works, drawings or plastic works. Here many examples are given. You can just see on the slide. They can be pictorial illustrations, cinematographic work, audiovisual recordings, etc. Yeah, so the types of intellectual properties are copyrights, trademarks, and patents. What is the difference between these three intellectual properties? So the copyright, as you can see, it is person's ownership right to original expression of creativity. Trademark is a special symbol, design, or name a company puts. Can you give me an example of trademark? Copyrights we all know. So you can give me the example of copyright also in the chat box. And there comes the patents. So patents are the official right only person to make, use, or sell a product or an invention document that shows this is your right. So patent can be taken on any document, any innovative work, any innovative written work, or any invention. The author can patent on that, and the trademarks are the symbols or the designs of the companies. So I have given here the IPR policies that are that exist in India. So whenever we share the slide with you, you can just open these links and go through the policies. So again, if you are just using a copyrighted work, then what are the things you have to take care about? First of all, you should use the already copyrighted work. You should do the fair use of that content or that copyrighted work. The use should be fair, and obviously if you are using another's creation, another's work, then you have to seek the permission by the author or by the creator. And if you want to take a copyright of already created content, of already the creation is there, then you have to buy the license. It means that you have to use any copyrighted work legally and not illegally. So there are many contents which are available in the public domain also. And what is the meaning of public domain? Public domain means the resources which are there in the internet and which are not claimed by anyone. I mean, it means that the resources which are available in the public domain has no right of anyone. I mean, people have created those resources and put it in the public domain without putting any copyright, without putting any license on that resource. So if you find any such resource which is available in public domain without the copyrights, without the licenses, you are free to use that resource. So let's discuss some about licenses also. Licenses are the permissions given by the copyright holder for the content they have already created. As I have just shown you in the example of a YouTube video, we have seen there that the license is free, and to reuse that resource is already allowed by the creator. So here we are going to discuss some more about the licenses, and we are just discussing these licenses. The reason of discussing these licenses are, in future if you are going to create any resource, you can put that particular license on your resource, or on your original work. If you are going to on a resource, it means not any resource created by the digital tools. You can create you can develop a tool also. You can write a book also. You can create or develop a trademark also, or you can take the patent also on the on your already created original work. So whenever you create any such work, you have to put a license on that. Licenses or the permissions which the author gives to the user. So these permissions are of various types, and these permissions have 4 components. These 4 components are, you can see, by, it means attribution required. Then the next one is NC, it means no commercial use. ND, it means no derivative work. SA means share alike. Share alike means the license must be the same on any derivative work. And NDA and NCA components cannot be combined. So this is a note for all, that if you are developing or if you are creating the license, then you should take care that ND, it means non-derivative, and share alike components should not be combined. So let's see some examples of the Creative Commons licenses. The first example is CC BY. This license allows reusers to distribute, remix, adapt, and build upon the material in any medium or format, so long as attribution is given to the creator. It means it is the most open license. Any user can reuse it, distribute it, remix it, adapt it, but the original author should be given the credit. And you can see the symbol of by, it is like shown here like this, a human figure within a circle. It depicts the by symbol. Then the next license is CC BY SA, Creative Commons by share alike. By is again the attribution. It is the credit must be given to the creator, and the SA means adaptations must be shared under the same terms. It means that the resource can be adapted, but it should be adapted in the same terms. Same terms means the terms which already were given in the original license. So the user can adapt the resource, but she can share the same resource under the same terms which are given already in the original resource. The next license is CC BY NC. This license allows reuser to redistribute, remix, adapt, and build upon the material in any medium or format for non-commercial purpose. So just look the definition carefully. It is an open license, but it allows the user not to use the content for commercial purpose. The content cannot be used for any commercial purpose. CC BY NC. Here again, some symbols are given. BY is given like that, a human figure within a circle, and you can see NC how it can be shown here in this picture. The next license is CC BY NCSA. It means non-commercial and share alike. So what this license says, it allows reuser to distribute, remix, adapt, and build upon the material in any medium or format for non-commercial purpose. Sorry. Yeah. The user can distribute, remix, adapt, and build upon the material in any medium or format, but for non-commercial purpose. It again is not allowing the user the content to share in a commercial purpose. So again, you can see the symbol, how this can be shown. Here we have put the symbols also in the slide. Then the next license is CC by ND. This license allows the user to copy and redistribute the material in any medium or format in unadapted form only, and only so long as attribution is given to the creator. So it means that, yeah, the reuser can copy the content, is they can distribute the material in any medium, but they cannot make any change in that particular content or in that particular resource. They cannot adapt the resource. They have to share the resource in its original form with the other users. So the next license is CC by NCERT, and this is a very strict license. It says that the reuser to copy and distribute the material in any medium or format in unadapted form. It means the user cannot adapt or make the changes in the original content, and they can use the same resource for non-commercial purpose. They cannot use that particular resource for commercial purpose. Yeah, so the symbols are again given here in the slide, how you can identify this license, CC by NCERT. Then this is the open license. The license for the resources which lies under the public domain. So you can see this CCO, it is a symbol of resources which are there in the public domain. Here I have just added an image of it is an original image which I have just found in a bank, and they're given a license, very strict license. You can see the picture. They have developed this customer feedback form, and they have given the instructions that do not copy, distribute, modify, redistribute, repurpose this PDF or its content. So they have restricted all the things. They are not allowing the user to copy, to distribute, modify, redistribute, repurpose this PDF for its or its content. So here we can see that they have developed this form by their own, and they are not allowing the users to, I mean, they are not giving the permissions to do all these things which are mentioned here in these instructions. Yeah. So in a pictorial form, again, we have tried here to show how the permissions are given in all these types of licenses which we have just discussed. These are again the Creative Commons platforms. Under these platforms, you can find the open resources which are available freely, and you can use the resources from these platforms to create your own content. Again, in this slide, we have given the links of the websites which provides open educational resources in the form of audio, text, search engines, image, and video. Yes, can you apply CC? Obviously, you can apply CC. You have all the rights. And if you want to understand more about Creative Commons license, you can go to the Creative Commons license website, and you can explore the Creative Commons licenses. What are these and how you can apply the Creative Commons licenses to your content. Sorry, yeah. So I hope I was clear about the open educational resources and the licenses which we have discussed. Till now, if you have any question, any query, you can ask. And then I have one more thing to share with you. Yeah. So in this slide, you can see a link. You can see a link here, and this link is about the open educational resource course. It is a short course for on open educational resource, which can provide an overview and demystifies concepts related to copyrights and Creative Commons licenses. I have just written a small intro about this course in this slide. This course is designed to promote better understanding of OER among educational leaders, administrators, teachers, librarians, and students. So why I am telling you about this course? Because you all have to attend this course, you have to enroll yourself in this course, and you have to go through this course. And after completion of this course, you will get a certificate. It is a very short course. I mean, I think it is about 10 to 12-hour course. And that certificate you have to provide to the coordinators of this workshop. So I will take you to this course. Just clicking on the link here. Just to make you familiar about this course, I'm just clicking the link. Yeah, it is the course from the Commonwealth of Learning. This is the course Understanding Open Educational Resource. The course is in English language and it needs 120 minutes approximately. Till now, they had this much of enrollments. What you will learn, the objectives are given there on this web page. And you can see here the button of enroll now. If you click on this button, you will enroll yourself for this course and you can complete this course. So hardly 10 hours you have to devote of yourself for this course, for the completion of this course. So I request you to go through this website and complete the course. I'm just sharing the link of this course in the chat box as well. So Nidhi ma'am will explain you more about this course. Okay, because if you want certification of SRG, then it is a mandatory part for you to complete this course.
Yes, true. So please, all of you are requested to attempt to go through this course and attempt the assessment to get the certificate, because it is one of the mandatory submissions